Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. You are tuned in to a series that I like to call Insecure to Insecured, aka Eye to Eye. On this channel, we're just going to have light little chit chats regarding the state of self-love, self-esteem, and security amongst women in the media, i.e. celebrities. This page and this channel is in no way to degrade, judge anybody. It's just me giving my opinions on situations that I've seen in the media that I can also relate to. I swear I am using my personal experiences to relate to these stories, so I am not judging nobody because I've been there. Oftentimes, the women that I will be talking about, we see their business in the media, whether they put it out or somebody else put it out. And a lot of people are always quick to judge. And I always read the comments and see how people are tearing other women down. And it's like, we can't all pretend that like we've never been bothered or we've never been in situations that have caused us to look crazy or dumb or whatever. But long story short, I want to touch on those topics in a way that is light, that is me sharing my stories, my lessons, and how I move forward from those lessons as it relates to the women that we are discussing. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Please comment your thoughts as the video goes along. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so as y'all can already see by the title, we are going to jump this thing off by talking about my girl, Summer Walker. First of all, I love her voice. I love her music. I love her personality. I really do love her. And it's Aries season, so it's only right that I kick it off with my girl. I just celebrated my birthday, March 25th, so I'm diehard Aries gang. But yeah, we're going to get into Summer Walker and her dating life. So in the media, we have seen our girl jump in and out of relationship. And a lot of people attack her for it, especially since she has kids. I do want to touch on that. But I also want to present the question of, do you guys feel like when you're a serial relationship person, meaning you jump from relationship to relationship, that you are masking some type of insecurity or issue with self-love? Or could it be that you just know what you want, you're certain about things in life, and you're not going to settle for anything, so you're comfortable with packing up and leaving when you get ready and starting over again? Also, to include that everybody has a different healing process, meaning it may take you an entire year to heal, 2 years maybe, from a bad breakup. But me, for example, once I get you out my system, you out my system. So I kind of see it both ways. So that's going to be the discussion today. Which one do y'all think it is? It's not to attack Summer Walker in any way. Like I said, I love her. I just think she's a great example to use, because one thing we know about her, sis gonna keep a man and sis is gonna move on. So yeah, Summer Walker, to my knowledge, hopped on the scene back in the late 2010s, because I know I was still in college at the time and I graduated in 2014, and I remember her name coming up then. Very talented artist, very raw voice. I remember her videos on YouTube and she was just amazing. Just to give some backstory on her dating life, that we've seen publicly, in 2019, 2021, and it could be longer or shorter than that. I'm using online resources, y'all, so don't fact check me. Everything here is alleged or things that I have found online. None of this is any of my personal information. So about 2019, 2021, she was with the popular producer London on the Track. They made some beautiful music together once again, and they did have her first daughter, which name is Bubbles. They ended up breaking up, and she got with this guy named Pharaoh, which I believe he does music as well. I remember her calling him Larry, so I'm going to go by Larry. So she got with Larry shortly after that relationship with London on the Track, and then she ended up pregnant again. And they ended up having twins, and everything seemed like, okay, she's moved on from London, like maybe she's found her person. But people were kind of judging him off rip because he didn't have the status that London had. He seemed like a regular guy. So people were judging her based on like, is she like minimizing herself to date just to have somebody? All these things are what people would say in the comments, and they ended up not working out either. And now she has 3 children. And shortly after that, them breaking up in 22, she gets with Lil Meech in 2023. And it's like, you have 3 kids at this point, so people are judging you even more. And it's the next year and she was already with somebody else, and then he was much younger than her, as well. I believe Lil Meech is like early 20s and Summer is like in her late 20s. So it was kind of like you're jumping in this new relationship with this young guy who's fresh on the scene from playing his dad in the series, and you're a bit older, you have 3 children, and once again, people are questioning what is your motive here, what is your mission, what are your dating intentions. So that didn't work out with Meech. They had an embarrassing moment where he was caught on a Ring camera going into a girl's apartment, and that turned into him saying that he was dropping off his cousin's groceries or helping his cousin with her groceries, and we all know that was a lie. So that's how their relationship ended publicly. Each of these relationships have been public. She's going back and forth with people, back and forth with baby mamas and all kind of stuff publicly on her lives. So some can say that it puts her in a negative light, but we're not focused on whether it's negative or positive. We're just going to focus on, does Summer seem to have issues with her self-esteem or security about herself, self-love, self-worth, and all those things? Or is she just a girl who, is she going to date a guy? If she like you, she like you. If y'all so happen to have a kid, then I guess that's okay. But once she realizes that you're not for her, she moves on. Is that a bad thing or is it a good thing? So after the breakup with Meech, she just popped out with this new guy late 2024 called Rico Reckless that I don't think anybody really knows who he is. He's like some Chicago drill rapper or something like that. So once again, people are questioning not only why is she moving on so fast, but why is the quality of men seeming to like, it's going down a little bit. So he seems crazy about her. He seems like the love that she could be looking for, but it's just a question of like, why is she downgrading in a sense, or dating guys that are not in her league. But that's just our opinion from the outside. We don't know what these guys have, what qualities that she sees in them, or any of those things. So now that we got her dating history wrapped up, let's continue the discussion. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to make here, or the point that I'm trying to bring up for us to discuss is our girl just simply a hopeless romantic who's looking for love, who has intentions and knows that she wants to be married and settle down or whatever it is for her? Or is she insecure in some kind of way or lacks self-love in some kind of way, and she finds security in relationships? Because we can't lie, some of us do that often. Like, we feel like we have to date people in order to feel like I have someone who loves me, in order to feel special and all those things. And I feel like honestly it could be either or. And I feel that it could be either or because I feel like in different phases of my life I have been both. But getting further into Summer, I do go to therapy. So what I always like to do when I see things like this is like try to dissect people. What would make you be this way? I am a fan of hers, so I do watch her interviews and things like that. And just from her upbringing, I know that her mom raised her. I do believe her dad may have been in her life, or they know each other now, but I don't know that they have a tight relationship. But I know her mom was like a boss, maybe a realtor or something like that. So she had a very decent upbringing. I don't think she's from the hood or anything like that, contrary to what people believe. I think she probably grew up in a nice neighborhood and all these things with her mom and maybe her dad. I do not want to exclude her dad. I wish I knew whether or not, but either way, I know that she was a stripper at some point, but she wasn't really interested in the strip life. She talks about where she would be dancing for people and, she'd want to have deep conversations about things that they weren't interested in and stuff like that. Quick pause. I have been looking at myself in the screen and not the camera, so I got this far doing that, y'all. I'm sorry, but anyway, yeah. With her upbringing, I know she was she grew up with her mom, decent living. She becomes a stripper later in her life. I'm assuming after high school, after she's graduated, but it wasn't interesting to her. I know she had her own cleaning business, so she shows how she's independent, self-sufficient, and a boss. But that's how us Aries women are. And then she started music from there and took it more seriously, and she plays instruments and all these things. So overall, I think she's a beautiful girl. She has great qualities. I don't think that she is like quote unquote a hoe or anything like that. I wouldn't even use that term to describe a woman, but I don't think she's just like bouncing around with celebrity men or anything like that. I feel like she is genuinely a hopeless romantic. Like, she's a girl who wants love, who wants to happily ever after, and she is just sampling out people and trying to reach that goal. And I've been there before. Like, it's honestly not to blame it on the zodiac sign, but it's honestly a trait of ours. We love people really hard and we love relationships. But when we not in relationships, we outside. Just to be clear, like in between those relationships, we having fun, but we do like to be in love. We do like to have one person. But just as quickly as we fall in love, because we're so impulsive, we can definitely fall out of love really fast. And that's why I don't judge her, because I have been in those situations where I've left a relationship, and once I'm healed from it, nobody can tell me what my healing process is. Once I'm healed from it, who's next? You know, it's cool. So I get that from her. I don't know whether or not she has any dad issues or mommy issues or anything like that. The only thing that would make me question her self-worth, other than the choice of men that she chooses to date, is the amount of surgeries that she's had. And I think it's a bit excessive. Like, I remember one point where I loved the shape of her butt. Like, I'm married, y'all. I'm married to a man. It's nothing gay or anything like that. But I just loved that her surgery looked kind of natural. I had always said if I were to get something done to my body, but I'm in the gym now, that she would be that figure. And this was some years ago. And I think it may have been even before her kids, but it just like she just got way too much, and it doesn't seem like she's going to stop. Like, even in her interviews, she brags about, like, if I want more work done, I'm going to get more work done. And I just think it's a bit concerning, because it's like, girl, you were so just naturally pretty, and you can't tell anybody else what they need or anything like that. But I just think she just went a bit too far, especially now that she has a daughter and raising two boys. I just find that concerning. So there could be some underlying self-love issue or self-esteem issue there. And that's why I keep reiterating that I think it can be a bit of both, because I'm going to get into my personal stories here in a bit, but I just have been on both ends where it's like, yeah, I know I have low self-esteem. Yeah, I'm a bit insecure. Yeah, I'm doing the wrong things for love and looking for love in the wrong places. But at the same time, I'm not playing with nobody. Like, once I'm done with you, you're disposable. I'm going to leave and I'm going to move on. So it could be a bit of both. So real quickly, a little bit about my dating life and how this relates to me. Because like I said before, in no way am I judging Summer Walker. I'm actually relating to her, and I'm just going to give my stories and my experiences on how I think this could go either way. You could be a hopeless romantic, and you can also be delusional. But I started dating, I guess, around 15, 16. And by dating, I use that loosely, because it's not like my mom and dad were like, you can go date. It was just like, that's probably the age I started becoming interested in boys more seriously. And I think it started bad for me then, because I didn't have self-love. It's weird for me, because I've always had confidence in who I am. But when it came to fully accepting my looks and everything like that, I've always been missing a piece that made me feel like, I don't know, you cute, but are you a pretty girl? I don't know. I didn't have the nicest clothes and shoes in school like that. Like, so I was kind of poor. So it was kind of like I didn't have anything to make up for it or whatever, other than just being smart. So when guys were also paying me attention back, I felt like I was giving my attention to the wrong people, or I was falling really, really fast, just because it's like, oh my God, someone is noticing me. Someone actually likes me and thinks that I'm cute. So that already started my journey off very toxic. So from sophomore year of high school to now college, at this point, I'm a full-blown hopeless romantic, and I'm going into college thinking that I'm going to find my husband. So imagine being in college and dating and having fun and doing all these things with different guys and stuff like that, and you're thinking that, oh, this one is the one. And it's a toxic mindset to have, and it comes from, one, maybe not experiencing that type of love from home or from a dad or from someone growing up, so you're trying to overcompensate for it later in life, like feeling like you have to have a man to feel valuable. Or it's just, I don't know, but it was something there, and I was just like a serial dater. Like, I would feel like, oh, this guy could be the one, not realizing that people just hook up, people casually date and casually have sex with one another and things like that. And here I was thinking that, oh, we might date for a little while, you know, have a beautiful love story, end up getting married, whatever. So I would constantly be let down. And then when I would get in a serious relationship with the guy I would consider my college sweetheart, because we were together for most of my college life, it was just very toxic, very messy. I had to deal with other women. I was going back and forth with women on Facebook and stuff, just doing the absolute most, embarrassing myself. And it just made me feel like I was losing myself behind this. Like you want to be in a relationship so bad that you're losing yourself behind this. But anytime that I would break up with somebody at that time, like my college years and maybe a couple years after college, it was like, just move on and find the next. And then two, I didn't want to be embarrassed. Like I didn't want to be that person that's like, oh, she done lost another man. She can't keep a man. So let me hurry up and grab another one. So maybe it'll look like it wasn't my fault. Like I can catch somebody and it's just them or whatever. And that's just the honest truth. Like it was a mixture of all those things at the time. So just to give a timeline on what I mean by healing and moving on quickly. So, as I mentioned, high school, I didn't really have serious relationships. It was more like boys I liked and I was dating. But the college sweetheart, I was with him for most of my college life. So we're talking 3 to 4 years on and off with each other, dating other people, coming back to each other, all that. We ended up breaking up when I graduated. Top of 2015, I moved to Tennessee. 8 months after breaking up with a college boyfriend, I met my Tennessee boyfriend. Um, we ended up dating for 3 years, and in the first 2 months, I knew he wasn't the guy for me. But once again, I had just got out of a relationship 8 months ago. He ran me through the mud, and I had something to prove. Like, I like this guy. He seems cool. Let's go. And it was really that simple. And it's just like looking back, I knew early on that that wasn't supposed to be a relationship. But anyway, I got in a relationship with him that lasted 3 years. And when we broke up, I took my time to heal, but I met my husband 6 months later. And from the day me and my husband started talking, we have been like this, inseparable. So we did have maybe a month or two of a friendship before we just decided that we really liked each other and we were going to be in a relationship. And we actually ended up getting married a year later. So it worked out for me. And I mentioned that to say the couple other times before that, I wasn't healing. I was just moving on from the situation and hoping that the next person would be better. And before meeting my husband and getting out of my 3 year relationship with the guy in Tennessee, that relationship drove me through the mud so bad that I had no choice but to face myself too. I was no longer waiting for the perfect guy to be out there to find me. I was trying to make myself perfect. Like I took a whole solo trip to Honduras by myself, flew there, everything, and went to a resort, stayed there. I did the whole left eye thing. Like I am healing, and I met my husband shortly after that. So you can't really put a time limit on it. So me and that guy broke up in like November of 2018, and by March of 2019, I met my husband. In that time frame, I may have went on like 1 or 2 dates with other people, and I went on that trip in March for my birthday. And coming back from it, that's when me and my husband got really close. We worked together, so we had seen each other at work, but that's when we like exchanged numbers and stuff. And I felt like I'm over him now. Like whatever I did in Honduras to heal, I left it there. Like I swear to God, I left it there. I came back. I wasn't looking for anybody either. I didn't come back saying, oh, I did the healing journey, so I can date now. I just was like, it is what it is. I feel good about myself. I accept what happened. I'm moving on. And then God brought my husband into my life. So it's one of those things where it could go either way, and it could have a multitude of reasons. Like she could just be a hopeless romantic who is in her phase of dating, and maybe she takes the time to heal, and whatever her healing time frame is, no one can really put a stamp on that. Like that's hers, and we don't get to see that part. So I'm gonna give her grace and say that it could just be a little bit of both. Another thing that I did want to mention is the fact that she has children. Keep in mind, my story is different because I did wait and have kids with my husband, so I haven't had that issue. But when I was dating and experimenting in the waters, I didn't have any children. So I do think it's different when you are raising children, especially small children, and she has a daughter, to date and bring your kids around people. So I will say that makes her situation a little more sticky, and I guess I understand why people are like she needs to slow down. But other than that, I still give her the benefit of the doubt that she's just trying to find her person. Okay, babes, we made it to the end. That wraps up our discussion on our girl Summer Walker and whether or not we think serial dating is a sign of like some issue with self-love. Are we lacking something? Is it okay? Is it healthy? I hope you enjoyed the discussion. This was the first episode of Insecure to Insecured, aka Eye to Eye, with your girl, Big Ange the Goddess. Please make sure y'all comment your thoughts, like this video, subscribe to my channel, share it everywhere. We're just trying to grow. I want to see how y'all like this, and let me know if you want me to dissect any other people. But I'll see y'all next week. Bye.